If you are ripping a $25 pack, a $30 pack, whatever it is, and then immediately selling off your cores for $1 or 50 cents, an uncommon for $2 or 50 cents, David and I are buying your cores and your uncommons for 50 cents happily. I can't stress it enough that is not what you should be doing when you open a pack. If you're opening a pack, you should be doing it because it's fun, and then you're going to sit on those cards and see what they mean later. Because right now, they mean nothing other than collectibles, and that's cool, but something is coming. What's up, Candy fam? My name is Nate, that's David, and this is the Talking Candy Weekly Update. Each week, we take a look at everything going on in the world of candy and let you know what stood out the most to us and what you need to know. While David and I each have collections of our own, none of this is financial advice. Please do your own research. We are just here to have a good time. David, how you doing?
I'm doing all right, Nate. It's been, we say it every week, but it's been an exciting week. It just seems like we can't go 4 days without a complete upheaval and a variety of changes taking place.
Yeah, it's been a wild last month. We had our first pack drop just over a month ago, and there have been, like you said, a lot of changes, a lot of adjustments, and a lot to talk about. So today was no different. This past week has been no different. We had pack drop number 3, lineup number 3 came out today, and we're going to break down the entire announcement that came out this past week in terms of what the new lineup drops are looking like, the contents of those drops, etc. We're going to take a look at some World Series tokens that have been pulled. The coveted 8 World Series tokens have started to surface, and we're also going to continue ripping some packs as we have been doing. So that's kind of the breakdown for tonight's show. But first, let's jump into Twitter and see what we got. So we started off the week with an announcement from Candy within Discord that the ability to sort by unique series was going to become available, and we'll show that when we jump into the Candy website in a little bit, but definitely a significant upgrade in the ability to sort the contents of the marketplace. So we'll dive into that a little bit later, but as you can see here, specifically sorting out by the 22 versus the 21 cards is helpful, but they've got everything in there. So all the different play of the days, all different stuff. So we'll take a look at that. We had the Ohtani 1 of 1 get pulled last week. The second Ohtani 1 of 1, I should say. Obviously, we had the 21 as well, but this was pulled last week. Very exciting from the lineup 2 packs. We also had the first World Series token get pulled last week, and all of this was on May 6th, which was was this lineup 2 drop day, or was it the day after? Or actually, no, this was the day that the announcement came out. So it was a crazy day. We had the announcement, which obviously we're going to touch on. We had that Ohtani pulled, and then this first token got pulled. So we still don't know what these mean, but we know they're exciting. We know that there's only 8 of them, and we know it's a good thing to pull it. So we'll talk about those a bit more. And like I just referenced, we had the airdrop. So the announcement came out that there was going to be the L1 and L2 primary pack purchases. Anybody that bought directly from Candy the $50 packs of either of those first 2 lineups, they were airdropped yesterday, or Monday, I should say, Monday the 9th. They were airdropped a 1-to-1 ratio for however many packs they purchased on the primary. So if you bought 10 packs, you got airdropped 10 packs. And it was a pretty wild day yesterday. A lot of excitement, a lot of positive feedback, and a huge amount of activity in the marketplace because of it. So again, this is kind of just a quick overview. All this stuff we're gonna get into in more detail. And then we had a couple 1 of 1 pulls. We had the Trey Turner 1 of 1 get pulled, and this was from lineup number 2. And we also had the Max Muncy one of one get pulled, also from lineup number 2. And right, am I getting that right? Those are both lineup 2 players, aren't they? I think so.
Yes.
Okay. So both of those are in collections at this point. And then today we had a nice little, this was something, a spin-off of information that we already got from the announcement that I'm burying at this point. But Reasonable stated that both burning and non-burning collection challenges are going to be part of this teased element of gamification, or whatever you want to call it, that's coming in. So very exciting to see some use cases for these cards at this point, something that I was screaming at the top of my lungs last episode, and really excited to see that, and excited to see what that looks like and how they implement it.
And that's something that we more or less assumed to be the case. We knew there would be burning, and we knew that challenges were coming, and it was assumed that there would be non-burning challenges as well. But it's nice to see it explicitly stated by Reasonable, just for that extra level of confirmation.
Definitely. And then we saw another World Series token get pulled. This is the second one, and tweeted this out earlier on Tuesday, that this was the second one. And since then, we know that a third one was pulled just recently, and we actually know who pulled that, and have a little piece of content that is not ready for this episode, but probably by the time this episode comes out, it will be tweeted out. So keep an eye out for that at Talking Candy NFT. Again, this is the thing to follow if you want the real-time updates, and just giving you a breakdown of what's happening as it happens. So as always, if these videos are helpful, if they're useful, like and subscribe on these videos go a long way in helping us reach a wider audience. And then the last update here, and this is kind of what we've been referencing so far, is that we had this huge update get released last Thursday, I believe it was the 6th, or was it Friday? Doesn't matter. Friday. So huge update here, and this created a lot of buzz, and it impacted a lot of different things. So first and foremost, lineups 3 through 6 are going to be $30 packs. So today's pack drop was $30 as opposed to $50. The primary purchases for the lineups 1 and 2, as we already talked about, those got airdrop packs on Monday, the 9th. We had 90 uncommon tier players, so meaning the players that were only going to get a max of an uncommon. 90 of those type of players were removed. So we've gone from a total of 720 players in the lineup down to 630, removed some of those players that were a lot less exciting to pull, and remedy that issue that people had an issue with, us included. And so because of those removed players going down to 630 total, that means that we've got 6 total pack drops, because it's still going to be 90 players per drop. And then the last piece of this was the burn mechanic, the burn collection, or whatever it's going to be, but some type of game theory based mechanic where NFTs are going to be able to be burned for other NFTs. What that's going to look like, how it's going to be implemented, we have no idea yet. But then also we had that confirmation from Reasonable that in addition to the burn type challenges, there will also be non-burn collection type challenges as well. So a combination of things that will provide more usefulness to these cards, and hopefully specifically to some of the bottom floor cores and uncommons, and giving new use to cards like that to be able to leverage into other ways to grow your collection. So let me pull up the pack drop graphic here, and we can dive into this a little bit deeper. So we've got lineups 3 through 6 remaining. As I said, lineups 7 and 8 are no longer. We've got 6 lineups, and as you can see it highlighted in yellow, we're down to 630 players total. Obviously everybody gets an uncommon. The number of players at the other tiers remains unchanged, so those are still as they were. Same with the rest of the numbers, 31,000 packs per drop, etc. So these are your dates. May 10th was today's drop. We've still got a week off after this week, followed by 2 weeks on for lineups 4 and 5, and then a week off, and then the final drop will be lineup number 6. So I don't think we have to linger on this too long. Just wanted to show it for clarification. But yeah, I'll let you jump in here for a sec.
Well, and as always, this information is subject to change because
Seriously.
we've already seen it change 3 or 4 different times. From originally, there were just going to be 4 lineups with 180 players each, and those same 4 lineups were going to have 2 drops apiece. And then they started on that path and had to diverge. And then, just this past week, we've seen a second kind of major divergence as they try and kind of better attune this product to the current status of the community. And so they've, the main things that they can adjust is the amount of supply they're releasing and the price of that supply. So they started by just kind of trying to fine tune that supply by vaulting half of the packs. And then they had to make a more significant change this past week by adjusting that price point, which necessitated an airdrop to make it up to people who paid the original price point. And, for the most part, I feel like these were fantastic changes. It just kind of cements the fact that Candy is going to do right by the community, and they're going to kind of go above and beyond to adapt as needed, based upon the current circumstances. Um, I did have, I guess, a few things that I would have personally done differently, because, and don't get me wrong, this significant change from this past Friday it's a net positive, it's a big win for Candy. It's a big win for the collectors. Yesterday or Monday, just having those 90,000 packs go out was just a generous gift that Candy gave as they've adapted their plans for this 2022 set. But if we can actually go to the other slide with the buckets there, the main thing I wanted to touch on, something that maybe they didn't consider with the gesture of that airdrop, was both the timing of the airdrop and the scale of the airdrop and the way that it affects the relative supply from one lineup to another. So I just want to kind of briefly touch on those 3 things. The scale is, of course, that it was massive. 90,000 packs coming in one day is a lot of packs. And that's going to affect the price of packs, because while many of us are happy to rip our free packs and see what we get, see what's inside, some people are going to sell their packs instead. And having that many new packs in one day is going to affect the price of packs. Before they announced the airdrop, both lineup 1 and lineup 2 packs were holding above $50. After the announcement, of course, they fell down because now the relative price of those packs went from $50 a piece to $25 a piece, because at that point, any pack you had bought directly was going to get you a second pack coming soon. And so we saw those prices start to slide, into the 30s and then the high 20s. And then once the airdrop arrived, even further. Now we're looking at low 20s on lineup 1 and lineup 2 prices. And maybe that's fair, because of the scale of those packs. Maybe those prices are decent for right now, but that's where we get into the timing of the airdrop. Having those land the day before a new release, in this case lineup 3 on May 10th, it almost conditions people to value the packs differently. Even though lineup 3 is different players, even though lineup 3 is a smaller supply, because only half of the lineup 3 packs are being released versus lineup 1 and lineup 2, having their release and having the airdrops come from those same lineups. People are still conditioned to maybe not put a full $30 value on lineup number 3. And we've seen a healthy number of sales today, but I'm curious if we might not have seen more if we hadn't had so much activity yesterday with the airdrop.
So it's actually surprisingly enough, as you said, we saw lineup 1 and 2 dip down after the announcement, and then especially once the airdrop happened, and lineup 2 remains hovering right around $20, but lineup 1, the floor has recovered up to 27 and change right now, and lineup 3 is hanging out right around $30, which is what they're still available to be purchased for
Mhm.
directly from Candy. So those are in the right place, and it's good to see the recovery on lineup 1 back to a pretty good number there. I think that the reasoning for the lineup 2 being where, or, yeah, sorry, the lineup 2 being where it's at is that we've seen the Otani 1 of 1 pulled, and we've
Mhm.
seen a few of the other 1 of 1s get pulled that have decreased the hype around that particular pack. And we've talked about the relevance of knowing what has been pulled when we were only talking about the 21 sets, the All Stars and the prospects. And now we have it on an even more fragmented level where there's different breakout by pack, and we know that for one, lineup 1 has twice the amount of players in it, so it's a very unique
Mhm.
type of pack where there's a lot more junk in it, we'll call it, but there's also a lot more upside in terms of 1 of 1s. And so you've got 25 potential 1 of 1s in there. Obviously some of them have already been pulled, but compared to that, you've only got 12 or 13 in lineup 2, and a fair number of those have already been pulled. So whether or not it truly reflects what remains in terms of value, that's its own conversation, because obviously it's so unlikely that you pull these 1 of 1s. It's a lot more likely that you're going to get some value with epics and rares. But just the fact that that is public knowledge and people are excited by the upside of a home run, that's why you rip, right? That's the fun of it, or that's one of the many pieces that it's fun about it. Knowing that that Otani is gone is going to impact the mindset of a potential pack buyer.
And that's completely fair because, as you said, lineup one, it has recovered, and there is still a 1 of 1 Mike Trout, and there's still a 1 of 1 Wander Franco hanging out in those lineup one packs. So that certainly could account for the difference there. But the tweak I would have made with that airdrop, and I completely love the 1 for 1. You bought a pack, you get one extra pack. Because with the price coming down to $30, getting 2 packs for $50, that becomes a bargain. Um, but I think I would have spread them out among all the lineups, and I would have spread them out so they weren't all dropping on the same day. And as you mentioned, lineup number 1 had twice as many players. So, we had one lineup with 60,000 packs released and 180 players, and every other lineup was planned to be 30,000 packs released and 90 players. And I think what they could have done is determined how many packs you bought at the full $50 price, and then assigned you an even number of packs from across the lineups that matched. And then rather than dropping them all at once, spread them out between now and the end of the release in June. Because what we're seeing instead is we're seeing two lineups that have now been fully unvaulted. It's 100% of the supply now has been distributed for lineup 1 and lineup 2, or at least close to 100%. There might still be some in the vault, just based upon how the numbers worked out with how many were purchased and how many needed to be airdropped. But we're looking at close to 100% distribution on two lineups, and we're still planning for 50% distribution on 3, 4, 5, and 6. And to even not distract from the actual releases themselves, they could have dropped those during off weeks. And so rather than dropping 90,000 packs the day before a new drop, they could have dropped just the packs from lineup 1 and lineup 2. And then lineup 3 could have come out today. It would have been further removed from the crazy day we had on Monday. And it might have, maybe even performed better because a lot of people spent a lot of money yesterday, both buying packs that other people were selling from lineup 1 and lineup 2, or buying the polls that people were making and then listing. And so that kind of, there's a certain amount of bandwidth to how much can be spent in a given period of time. And they front loaded a ton of that the day before the lineup 3 release. And I think it would have been just as much of a win for people to know that they were getting that second pack for every pack that they purchased, without the downside of having it all at once and having it the day before a new release and having it all be from the same two lineups. At least personally. But as I said at the top, Candy taking that big step to change the price and to give an airdrop, it is definitely a win. I'm just trying to look for ways where it could have been more of a win, or they could have kind of maybe prevented some slightly negative side effects from that type of event.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying. I think, yeah, it's the bottom line is that we had this huge influx of new supply, and the overarching concept here is that it's just a little bit confusing to assess how to value things at this point, because you've got 120,000 packs from lineup 1, you've got 60,000 packs from lineup 2, which is half of the player supply of lineup 1, and now you've got 30,000 packs from the remaining 4 lineups, which also has the 90 players. So you've got very different styles of packs at this point being implemented, released in different volumes, and you've got prices that have been set by lineups 1 and 2 with huge volume, and now there's kind of some mimicking of those prices happening with the stuff that's come out with lineup 3 today, when in reality the supply of lineup 3 is significantly lower, so it shouldn't necessarily be mimicking that. And I think it's going to take some time for people to recalibrate and recognize what it is that things are worth, what they should be worth. And for all of us, you and I haven't even had a chance to fully digest what this all means and what it looks like, and it'll have a lot to do with how much of lineup 3 gets purchased in the end out of these 30,000 packs.
How many? Because it's not even 30,000. Right now it's 16,000 is what's been sold so far, and there's still 3 days left, or 2 days by the time this comes out, to see if the entire 30,000 gets sold this week, and it very well may, especially at that reduced price point. But I would be interested to see if, in a different method, we might have seen a sellout today if we weren't coming the day after 90,000 airdrops.
Yeah. It's a lot. It's a lot to digest. I've been saying it for a few weeks now that there are things that are challenges. There are things that they've gotten wrong. In general, I like to see that reaction is happening. The whole vibe around this airdrop was super positive. It was a lot of really appreciative community members. None of us were expecting it. And in general, it felt like a very positive nod to the collector of, we recognize that we didn't execute as best as we could have on these first 2. Here's an apology. Here's a thank you, however you want to look at it. So yeah, it's a complex problem. It's a complex problem, and we don't know everything going on behind the scenes in terms of what their partnership agreements are and what the different things are that they can and can't do, where their hands are tied. They did some things right. We both are taking a look at it and thinking about what other things could be adjusted. And yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot to digest. So let's did you have anything else that you wanted to say on that point?
No, I think that pretty well covers it.
All right. So let's take a look just real quick at what this lineup that came out today is. So this is just a rough graphic from an Excel sheet, but basically we've got 16 players that have the potential to have a 1 of 1 pulled, which means they've got everything from legendary down to core. The second purple tier here, these guys will not have one of ones, but they will have everything else. So the first tier and the second tier are identical, other than the chance of those 16 one of ones. And then the last two tiers, tier 3 and 4, are the rare top and the uncommon top tiers. Those are both going to be slightly different, as we've talked about in the past, where your cores drop down from a mint count of 2750 to 1500. The uncommons drop from 1500 down to 850. And on that rare tier, you've got 425 rares as opposed to the 500 rares that you see on the players that have epics. So not going to linger on this because it's kind of a overwhelming graphic, but feel free to pause on this if you want to see how that's broken down. David and I both like to just color code this when we get it and have an idea of what every tier looks like and which players are going to have which types of cards. So
well, it's going to say it's not entirely intuitive, but the tiers with the less rare players could actually wind up being more valuable in a case where there's not too much supply to go around. Because in that blue and green category, they effectively have half, or in some cases less than half, the amount of supply as the purple and gold. And so we're already seeing some cases where some of those green uncommon tier players, there's just not a lot of listings for them right now because there just haven't been a lot of pulls from them yet.
Mm-hmm.
And until more of them get pulled, they have higher prices that they might otherwise end up at. And so if you're looking for like a diamond in the rough, you could look to the blue and the green, because if there's a player that's going to have a strong career, then you get in on them when they only have a limited supply. That could go a long ways.
Yeah, we've seen there are definitely still some very appealing players at the rare tier, and we've seen, because their top card is a rare, that those rares are holding. Not only is it their top card, it's also a slightly lower mint count at 425. Like you said, we've seen those prices hold higher premiums than the rare of a player that has an epic, because there's more attention being paid to the epic there. And the same thing goes for the uncommons on these guys that their highest is uncommon, but also for that rare tier as well, where the floor of the uncommons of these guys that have the lower mint counts is being held higher than the floor of the uncommons of the guys in those two higher tiers. So we talk about supply and demand all the time, and this is no different. So even though the players are a little bit less desirable, even the ones that are no name reliever, type guys, those are still holding higher floors at the core and uncommon level than the guys that have those upper tiers. So it's a little bit of supply and demand. It's a little bit of mint count and just different emotions going into it. But we've seen it pretty consistent across the board that those mint counts getting cut in half has effectively doubled the floors. It's not a perfect science, but in a lot of cases, that is what we're seeing. So to me, the biggest news, based on what I was talking about last week, is this teased burn mechanic. And we're not going to talk about it too long because we don't know anything about it yet. But to me, it's very exciting because it's giving confirmation that, okay, we've got all these packs. We've got floors that were already low, and now they're lower because of the influx of supply. So some people might say, well, okay, we got all these packs, but we just lowered the floors to match the pack prices, which isn't totally true. We've actually held steadier than that. So they are in a lot more balance than what they were before. So mission accomplished there. But the more important piece to me is that anyone with a long-term vision on this project, which you and I both do, have to recognize that, okay, yes, we don't know what it looks like yet, and we are still holding our breath to hope that they implement it in an effective way. But the fact that there is going to be some type of burn mechanic, some type of non-burn collection type challenges, there are going to be ways to use these cards, cores, uncommons, rares, whatever it is. There's going to be ways to have these be useful. So we've been saying it since the first pack drop of lineup 1. If you are ripping a $50 pack, if you are ripping a $25 pack, a $30 pack, whatever it is, and then immediately selling off your cores for $1 or 50 cents, an uncommon for $2 or 50 cents, David and I are buying your cores and your uncommons for 50 cents happily. It is, I can't stress it enough that is not what you should be doing when you open a pack. If you're opening a pack, you should be doing it because it's fun and because you're enjoying the process, and then you're going to sit on those cards and see what they mean later. Because right now, they mean nothing other than collectibles, and that's cool. But something is coming. Something is coming where these perceivingly valueless cores of no-name players are suddenly going to be able to be used for something else. And maybe it's going to be burning it for some type of new burn tier rarity. Maybe it's something that we can't even think of yet. We have no idea what it's going to be. But at some point, these floors, in my opinion, this is not financial advice, but at some point, these floors are no longer going to be the floors. And so while these are the floors, I'm happy to buy them because they're going to be used for something at some point. And so if you're continuing to just shoot for the, going for the home run every time you open a pack and get frustrated that your $50 pack only has $10 worth of cards or that your $30 pack only has $7 worth of cards, you can do what you want, but I just don't see any sense in spending the money on that pack and then selling it for 20 cents on the dollar. These things are going to be used for something. Like David said at the top, these were plans that were already part of the trajectory of what Candy was going to do. It's just that they've now expedited it and allowed us to actually know that this is what is planned and is upcoming. So be patient. Something is coming here. I don't know if they're going to disclose what it's going to look like next week, next month, this summer. They have stated that the burning isn't going to happen until this summer, but that doesn't mean that they wait that long to announce it. So my opinion is to sit on your ripped packs, whatever those contents are, and be patient and find out what they're going to be used for.
There was even a post made that seemed to indicate that the burn mechanic could be as early as late June, which, would be fantastic.
Yeah.
And technically still summer, tail end of June there. But it could be before we know it, month and a half away, possibly.
Mm-hmm.
And even if it's a little bit longer, it's we know the value's coming. We know that we're right here where the value is going to be. Just wait for it, and we can't make you, as Nate said, we can't make you hold on to your cards. And I'm going to keep buying 50-cent cards. I can't even afford them all. There's so many right now, but that's okay. I'll just pick my targets because you can't sell less than 50 cents. And so when there's a burn system coming, the cheapest thing that you can burn is going to be 50 cents. It was the cost for it. And so any pickup I get at 50 cents, I know that's the bottom. That's the lowest I could be paying for this commodity that's going to be useful for something. And if there's a difference in burning different rarities, if there's a point-based system where uncommons burn better than cores, then all these 50-cent uncommons I'm picking up are even better than the 50-cent cores. I'll find out soon enough. And if you're selling them to me, you might wish that you'd waited to find out too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I will buy as many 50-cent uncommons as people list. And again, this is not financial advice. Everything in crypto, NFTs, investments, things are down right now across the board. It's not just Candy. So you gotta, play with money you can afford to lose. And I think that that's a big issue right now too, is that there's a lot of emotion. There's too much emotion tied into it when you are using money that you're feeling, right? It should be play money. This is extremely volatile, and we have seen that. We have seen that since we started this show, since we've started watching this. Things were things were crazy back in January. Things were real high, right? And it's not anymore. So we're finding new ways to find new opportunities given the hand that we've been dealt at this point. And we're sitting on the old stuff and hoping that Candy does right by it and finds a way to continue increasing value and getting new users. But you got to just enjoy this for what it is right now. Otherwise, there's no sense in being here, because the reality is that everything's down right now. All of this stuff is extremely volatile, and you got to continue to just make plays on speculation, have fun with it, and see what happens. But ripping a $50 pack and selling the contents for $8 is a short-sighted mindset, and it's not one that I condone. It's not one that I would recommend. And so hopefully people can have patience and have confidence in these packs that they decided to buy in the first place. So, yeah, that's all I got on that.
Yeah, I mean that's all for now. We know it's coming, and we're gonna wait.
So should we rip some packs?
I think we should rip some packs.
Let's rip some packs.
I think it's definitely your turn to go first.
It's definitely my turn to go first. There's no doubt about that. All right, let me get this pulled up here. Let's see. There we go. All right. Got these in early access, so I've got some nice low serials here. Is there anything that I want to leave alone? Do I just go straight from the top? I'm just going to go straight from the top.
Are you forgetting something?
I'm always forgetting something. Pack hat.
Pack hat. And I mean, it's 2 for 4 on Epics?
2 for 4 on Epics. 4 packs ripped, 2 Epics, 1 Byron Buxton. Let me do the refresh here. Refresh, pack 235. Let's rip.
Okay. Straight out the gate with an Epic. 3 for 5. What is going on
3 for 5 with the
hat?
pack hat.
That's
3
not...
for 5 with the pack hat. It's a gem. It's a juicy gem. All right. Oops. Here we go. Course to start. All right. Nolan Arenado,
Okay.
nice start. Daniel Lynch, pitcher for the Royals. Let's go. Cabrian Hayes, already off to a real nice pack here with Arenado and Cabrian Hayes. Core's done, uncommon. Carson Kelly, catcher for the D-backs. All right, let's hope I didn't miss or waste all my player luck on the cores. One time.
Here we go.
All right, Mitch Haniger.
Mitch Haniger.
I'll take it.
Fair.
Got him on the fantasy squad. I like Haniger. He's hurt right now. Oh man, your video's freaking out right now.
I was just about to ask something.
There we go. You're back.
Okay.
I hope nobody got a seizure from that. Okay. All right. We like this pack. Solid
That is a
pack
fantastic first pack.
here. Yeah. 3 for 5 on the Epics. All right.
You know there's only one Epic in every 8 packs, right?
I'm on a heater. I'm on a heater.
That's what you're supposed to get.
Now, do I take the next one from the top, which wasn't actually sequential? Yeah, I'm just going to go from the top again.
Okay, just let the hat guide you.
Let the hat do it. All right.
Okay.
Still
Standard
3 for 6. Still 3 for 6.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's get some players here. Another Cabrian Hayes. We like it. We like it.
Okay.
Liam Hendricks, the Aussie, with my Aussie hat on. Cody Bellinger.
Solid.
Man, you know what? They said that the pack ripping experience was going to be better with these the uncommon tier removed, and I'm kind of feeling that so far. Small sample size, but Real Muto.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And Will Smith.
Will Smith. The other Will Smith.
The other Will Smith. All right. Couple solid packs. I'm going to open one more pack. I think I'm going to open one of my airdrop packs.
You going to go for a lineup 1 or a lineup 2?
Let's go pull the oh man, which you call it? What should I do? I don't even know how to find these.
Man. I mean, the 1 of 1 Trout and Franco exist. So that's tempting. But there's still some good stuff in lineup 2. I feel like people are sleeping on lineup 2.
All right, well, let's give lineup 2 some respect here. Let's put some respect on lineup 2. Or am I going the wrong way now? I must have already passed them. Lineup 2's got to be higher. Here we go. All right. Lineup 2 airdrop pack right off the top. All right.
And
a little rare.
Mm-hmm.
A little rare. Thomas Hatch, reliever for Toronto. Julian Merriweather, another reliever for Toronto. David Price. Uncommon. Nestor Cortez, let's go. It's the only Yankee I'll get excited for. That guy's awesome. And the rare. Tommy LaStella. Not exciting for me. Should have been your pack. But
that one, yeah,
we'll
that feels like it was my pack.
Yeah.
4 pitchers and a giant.
Do you still need a LaStella for your rainbow?
No, I finished my rainbow for lineup 2.
Okay.
I'm only missing a couple rainbow pieces for lineup 3, but otherwise I'm holding on strong to the giant rainbow.
Yeah, David and I are both working on full rainbows. Me for the Red Sox, David for the Los Gigantes. All right, you are up, my friend.
Okay. Then,
Let me get back here.
Let's make sure. Make sure we got my page and it's active. I'm going to be disappointed if I don't walk away with an epic now after that one. Okay.
All right, you're live.
I've got my early access packs from earlier today. And I'm just going to start from the bottom. And I'm sticking with the lucky pennies. They did pretty well last week. So we'll keep those going.
I'm going to leave my hat on for you. I don't know if it works that way.
I'm not sure if it does either. The first pack.
Oh, hold on. Oh, wait. Hold on. You're still frozen.
Oh, no.
Did it pop the jewels?
It did. I'm going to wait until you get caught up then.
So that we can see the little red legendary. All right. Give me a sec. This usually recovers fairly quickly. There we go. All right.
Straight out the gate with an epic. First pack. We both hit the epic right out of the park at the beginning.
We like it. We like this. L3 coming in clutch.
Yeah, lineup 3 starting with the bang. First we have Luis Sessa, relief pitcher for the Reds. Second core, Dominic Smith, left fielder for the Mets. Third, Adam Duvall, center fielder for the Braves. Gonna hit that uncommon and see Andy Ibanez, second baseman for the Rangers.
Something big.
But the epic.
Something big.
First pack epic, lineup 3, out the gate. Jorge Polanco, second baseman for the Twins.
Okay.
I mean, it's not a pitcher. I'm pretty happy with that. And I'm just happy with an epic. Straight out the gate.
Yeah, I really like the upside of the value of these epics. Like I said before, we've got only 30,000 of these packs compared to 60,000 of the L2 packs compared to 120,000 of the L1 packs.
Hmm.
I'm bullish on what we see
Yeah,
these floors normalize to.
right. The Epic is a 250, but with only 30,000 being released, it's a 125. And if they don't all sell out, it's even less than that.
Hmm. That's
So
another little
that's
nugget for anybody that made it this far. I'm being a little bit more I'm being a little more lenient with the prices that I go for on these L3s because of that. I think that people are a little smoke screened by the L1, L2 prices, and I think that because of the low supply that we're going to see that shake out in the coming days. I don't think it's going to take that long.
but it is another thing where it could change. We're making our plans, we're making our
Absolutely.
strategy based upon things as they exist right now, but we've already seen how that could backfire.
We
We saw
yes.
you waited for lineup one,
Yeah.
expecting the new supply to come, and then they said it wasn't coming,
Hmm.
and so prices went up, and you had to buy your lineup one at a higher price, and then you paid that higher price, and then a couple weeks later they airdropped the rest of the supply for lineup one anyways, and then you could have had those even lower prices.
Yep.
So things can change,
Yeah.
but if
Yes.
lineup three stays the way it is with its 30K supply only out of 60, and if it doesn't even sell out and they just keep those in the vault, then the prices right now on lineup three are going to be a huge win.
Which is why you should follow Talking Candy NFT on Twitter, because if they announce that the other 30,000 packs are getting released in the meantime, that's where you'll know. And then everything that we just said is null and void. Hold on, we just kicked out this. There we go.
Okay, so here we go. Lucky Penny, pack number 2, lineup 3. What do we got this time? And a rare.
All right.
Epic and a
All
rare.
right.
Super solid for
Some
the
good
2
packs
lineup 3
tonight.
packs this week. Now let's check the players. Got Chris Taylor for the Dodgers. Second core, Steven Matz, pitcher for the Cardinals. Third core, Taiwan Walker, pitcher for the Mets. The uncommon, Nolan Arenado.
Nice. That's a nice little
Hey,
pull.
third base for the
I like
Cardinals.
that.
Solid
Alright.
pull. And the rare, Lorenzo Cain,
Mm.
center fielder for the Brewers. Respectable.
Not the best. Card looks cool, though. Love those Milwaukee jerseys. Milwaukee has some of the best branding in the MLB. I love their stuff.
Let's see. Will you open an airdrop pack? I think I will as well. So let's just follow your lead.
Mm-hmm.
Go with lineup number 2.
Okay.
2. And we'll just take, again, the one off the bottom. Lucky Penny. And let's go. Okay, standard pack. But it's going to depend on what's inside.
I don't know if we've said this on here before, but for anybody that doesn't know, it's the cores that contain the World Series tokens. So it's a sneaky core out shell, and then when you pop it, that's where the World Series tokens are. So just a little FYI.
And we knew that the World Series tokens would replace a core, but we weren't sure necessarily if they appeared as a core or if they appeared as a legendary gem in the pack that they replaced. But we have confirmation now that they appear as a core.
Mm-hmm.
That you click on the core and you get the World Series NFT instead. But here we go from lineup number 2. First core, Whit Merrifield for the Royals. Second core, Jonathan Scope
Got
for the
it.
Tigers. Third core, Kevin Kiermaier.
No
for the
World
Rams.
Series tokens.
No World Series tokens in this pack. But we have our uncommons. They're going to save the day. First uncommon is Dylan Carlson.
Nice.
For the
That's a good pull.
And the second uncommon is Lucas Sims, relief pitcher for the Reds. All right. Well, we pulled an epic from lineup 3. 2 great lineup 3 packs.
Mm-hmm.
And, as mediocre as this pack felt, it was free. Candy gave it to me out of the kindness of their hearts. So I'm happy with that too.
Love it. Love it. Well, I think that's it. I think that's all I got. We've done another episode, David. another one in the books. We've got a week off on pack drops next week, followed by lineup number 4, and looking forward to that. Definitely enjoyed the pack ripping experience a little bit more on this lineup 3 with some better players in there. Small sample size, but enjoyed that. And yeah, so happy marketplace hunting. My name is Nate. That's David. This is the Talking Candy weekly update, and we will see you in the next one.